When I first started YouTube a couple years ago, the whole intention behind it was to try to help as many people as I can improve their overall health, specifically their physical health via fitness. And all the pieces of content I put out, all the years that I've been putting myself out there on social media, I've always tried my best to keep my personal life out of it. But with everything that's been going on with me these past couple of weeks, these past couple of months, you may have noticed that I haven't been posting realistically at all. And I feel like just a lot of stuff was going on in my personal life, and just really thinking about it, maybe this would be a good time to share everything and explain why I've been taking a break from YouTube and just continue on of hopefully everything that I went through can be something that you all can learn from, and it could help you improve not only your physical health, but now also looking out for your mental health. With just the chaotic world that we live in, just day in, day out, of just doing the same thing over and over again. Waking up early, going on traffic, going to work, dealing with all the noise. It's good to just step outside every here and there and just get some fresh air and I like coming up here because it's nice and quiet, being out in nature, getting sunlight, breathing in the fresh air, and just being somewhere where there's just no distraction whatsoever. Could actually come up here and just hear my thoughts and just listen to what just God, universe, life just has to tell you. It's hard to hear what they're trying to tell you when you're constantly being surrounded by distractions, people, places, things, whatever it may be. I've been coming up here a lot just to clear my mind and just praying, essentially. And that's one of the biggest things that's been really helping me out, is just faith. I don't care what anyone's belief systems are, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever it may be. I definitely believe we all need something to believe in. When things get hard, you could only rely on yourself so much. I already see you relying on myself these past couple weeks, these past couple months. So I remember every little thing so far that's been happening these past couple of weeks, and I remember the exact dates and everything. And I'd say the biggest turn for the worse, essentially, it happened on Sunday, December 29th, 2025. I was literally in my room doing absolutely nothing. I was just relaxing, just sitting around, scrolling my phone. I said, I'm gonna take a couple minutes to just get my mind right before I actually start doing whatever it is that I had to do that day, editing content, cleaning up, whatever it may be. And I was looking down at my phone, sitting on the chair, and literally all of a sudden I felt as if my heart skipped a beat. And then after it skipped a beat, I literally felt my entire chest cavity just completely contract. And then I started feeling heart palpitations. I literally felt like my heart was just racing through the roof, and just not just the heart beating fast, but very aggressively. I literally felt my heart literally pounding out of my chest. And then I started getting very lightheaded. I felt like I was just about to pass out. I started sweating pretty good. I started feeling tingling or numbness in my hands. I'm like, wow, what is going on? And then I just started freaking out more and more. I'm like, what's happening? And at first I thought, I need to get up and just walk around. I need to move around. Maybe I'm just a little too calm. I drank caffeine earlier in the day. I'm like, did all of a sudden it just kick in really aggressively? But then it just wasn't going away. And then a couple minutes later, a couple hours later, it wasn't going away. At least the heart rate portion itself. The sweating, the lightheadedness wasn't as much, but there was still some difficulty of breathing throughout the rest of the day. And I really thought it was. I'm like, man, maybe this is my body's way of saying, hey, you're starting to overdo it on the caffeine. Because at the time I was taking an excessive amount that was by no means healthy. I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I was overcompensating for it by taking just unhealthy amounts of caffeine. There was days where I was maybe even shooting up to 800, maybe even 1,000 milligrams of caffeine per day. And at that day, that instance, I literally went to my kitchen, and my mom specifically was cooking in the kitchen at that point. She saw me grab my pre-workout bottle or jar that I had only been taking for a week. It was a brand new jar, a brand I've never tried before. I've only had it for that past week, so 7 days, and I just threw it away in the trash. And then she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know. I feel my heart racing nonstop." And I really thought it was just the excessive caffeine. And I thought, okay, this is a new brand that I've never had. Maybe it's got some other stimulants in there that are a little too hard for my body to handle. So that was a real wake-up call, because like I've never felt that pain, that sensation for it. Like the best way I could describe it, it literally felt like I was having a heart attack. You look at all the signs of a heart attack, that's exactly what I was feeling. Heart palpitations, chest pain, shortness of breath, numbness in the arms, I was profusely sweating. A pending sense of doom or anxiety. So I'm like, okay. So then I went the rest of my day. The heart rate was just fluctuating, going up and down, but it didn't seem to be going away until the very end of the hours later. And then the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, I chose not to take any caffeine whatsoever, and I hadn't felt it since. So I thought, okay, that's what the issue was. Maybe it was just too much caffeine. And then the next instance, it was January 16th or January 15th, whatever that Thursday specifically was of that week. I was at work and we had a meeting, and it was a presentation. I wasn't the one presenting. I was sitting in the back of the room just getting other work done on my iPad. Keep in mind, I'm in a calm state right now. Nothing really happened. I didn't work out in the morning. I was going to work out in the evening that week specifically. And then all of a sudden, I'm just there, and like that, I felt that exact same feeling that I had felt previously. My heart rate just shot up through the roof. It just pounding, just chest pain. It felt like everything was contracting. I felt like I was skipping beats, lightheadedness, clammy hands, literally feeling like I'm about to pass out. So same thing as last time. I'm like, I feel like maybe I need to. I stepped outside the building real quick, took a lap, just something, just to get some movement. Maybe I was just sitting for too long. Maybe I need to get some blood flow going. And it wasn't going down. And this was when I really started to worry, because I'm like, okay, now this is the second time that this has happened. What I initially thought I had fixed the issue of caffeine, but it's still happening. So I went up to my boss who was presenting. I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to it's like where I work is like the doctor on campus is what we work, the medical center. I'm like, I want to be right back. I'm gonna head over there. I'm gonna get checked out real quick. I'm just not feeling too good. And he's all like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I just feel off, feel lightheaded, and my heart is just racing through the roof. And then I asked him, like, do you want to feel my heart rate? He's like, because I'm like, or am I just overthinking it? And right when he felt my heart rate, he was like, yeah, we got to take you to the hospital. So that day, I then went to the hospital for the first time. And I just feel like myself getting worse and worse. I feel it's just nonstop. So I was there for hours. Okay, they're doing whatever tests they can, and ultimately they couldn't find anything based on what they could do there. But they said you need to go see a cardiologist. They got to go for further examinations. Okay, so before that, I had to go to the primary care physician. From there, he's going to give me the referral. When I went to the primary care physician, the very first thing that they said is like, all right, what's your pharmacy? I'm like, what do you need a pharmacy for? You don't even know what my issue is. And then I literally only had maybe a 3-minute conversation with the main doctor there. And I explained everything that had happened. I'm like, I feel off. This has happened twice already. The very first thing, okay, we're going to give you blood pressure medications. And shocker, you go get checked out. And the first thing the medical system wants to do is just prescribe you pills. It's like, okay, great. Well, the pills will lower my blood pressure and maybe my heart rate, but it's not really addressing the issue of what's causing this in the first place. So that was making me fed up, because I'm like, this is just a waste of time. Just give me the referral and I'll go to the cardiologist. And then I went, or it was gonna be 2 weeks after that. And then ever since then, it started becoming a little more frequent. My heart rate just kept fluctuating, go up and down, but it wasn't getting severe enough to the point where I felt like I needed to go to the hospital. It wasn't like those first 2 major incidences, but it was happening very more frequently. I'm like, why is, God, like today I feel my heart is just like constantly going. I feel like it's skipping beats, so much so where I feel like I'm shortness of breath. Now I'm feeling it in my throat. I'm like, what's happening? And I think it peaked the week of, I think it was the last week of February. Oh no, maybe the second to last week of February, where now for the first time I'm feeling something off, and it was 5 out of the 7 days of the week. I remember it. The only days I didn't feel something that week were just Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty concerning. And I remember that specific weekend, I headed up to the mountains, and I'm just there, like just trying to just escape everything, just trying to be somewhere where it's peace and quiet, where I could just hear my own thoughts, and I could just, like, you know, just mentally check out and just breathe in some air and just relax. And I'm just there in the mountains, and I'm just like, I'm talking to God. I'm like, what's happening to me? Like, I don't understand what all this is going on. I feel a lot of stuff here, and because I don't know what it is, I feel like now it's starting to affect my mental health, because that's the only thing that's on my mind. At this point, I'm not even working out whatsoever. I'm not putting out any content. I literally feel like I have no motivation to do anything but just lock myself in my room and do nothing. Even at work, I'm kind of just pushing myself, but I'm really not getting much done. I'm like, what's going on? Like, God, can you just like help me out? And the biggest thing I remember is when I was up in that mountain, was just literally just breaking down mentally, just like begging for some type of help. He's like, can you just make all this go away? Because I don't really know what it is. Like, I literally feel so much pain right here, and I feel like I can't get anything up here to just calm down, and it just seems like I can't seem to do anything at all. And then I went home, and something switched up the next day. The next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday and Wednesday, I felt fine. I'm like, I don't really feel anything. I don't feel my heart racing as much. I don't feel the shortness of breath. I'm like, did God hear my prayers? Did I ask for the help that I needed? Am I good? I'm like, okay. And each day that went by where I wasn't feeling things, I was just building more and more confidence. I'm like, oh, perfect. Maybe this is what I need. Maybe I just need to get some fresh air and just like let it all out, everything that I was bottling in. But then that following Thursday was officially my first cardiologist visit. And when I went there, they did whatever tests they had to do. And once they came back, they said, okay, we do see a problem with your heart. Yes, it is beating a lot faster and a lot harder than it should. There is, in fact, a problem there. We can confirm it. We just don't know what's causing it. They said it could be an issue with the left ventricle. Maybe it's not strong enough, and that's why it's beating harder than it should to compensate for it. They did say it could be a blockage in one of the valves. It could be an issue with my blood is too thick. And the way that they were wording it was not very reassuring, because they worded it in a way that made it sound like it's very bad. It's like, yeah, it's got, it could be this, and just be prepared. Like, we could have to address it with surgery. And it's not very reassuring when the doctor keeps telling you over and over, and you're only 25. You really shouldn't be dealing with this. No, it's not good for you to be having this problem. It's this young. No, you're too young. We got to find this, because this is not right for some of your, like, that's not really reassuring when you're already worried about the most important organ in your body, and everything in your life seems like it's going downhill, and you really seem off, and all the old habits that you used to have of being very productive, very hardworking, constantly putting in work at the gym, trying to excel in your career, working on the side hustle, social media, I'm already having all of that fall apart. The last thing I need you to do is try to tell me now there's something even worse happening. And it's not reassuring when you keep emphasizing that I'm too young to be dealing with this stuff. Yes, I am too young. I understand. Can you just like try to help me out here? So that was all in my mind, because right when the cardiologist says, yeah, we confirmed there's something wrong with your heart, we got to fix it. And it could be surgery. They just don't know what it is. Okay, well, now I'm just left in the clear. Okay, well, how can we find out what the issue is? We're going to go ahead and meet in 2 weeks, and we're going to do every test we can here. So make your appointment in 2 weeks from now. All right, so there's a possibility of 2 weeks going by with me still dealing with all this. And then next thing you know, that's all in my mind. That was on a Thursday morning. That's everything that was going on in my mind. And then the following day, Friday morning, still the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, there's actually something wrong with my heart. What happens if it's in these next 2 weeks? I get another one of those episodes, and this time it's really severe and it leads to something worse, because I still don't know what's happening here. I know for sure there's a problem now. It got confirmed. I just don't know what it is. I don't know the severity, like what's going to happen. I'm more worried about, like, if I'm driving on the freeway and it kicks in all of a sudden, I don't want to crash or anything severe like that. I don't want to be in the middle of trying to work out and I'm bench pressing and I strain too hard and all of a sudden it's too much pressure on my heart and it gives out, because you just never know. I have no official answers yet. So then I was teaching a group class that Friday morning. I was teaching a boxing group class at work. And at the start of the boxing class, I started feeling a little off. And I feel like, again, I'm just replaying everything that's been happening so far in my head, all the hospital visits and now everything that was being told by the cardiologist. So all of that is just reliving in my head again. And now I'm just feeling worse. So like 10 minutes into the group class, I text my boss and hey, can I go home right after the class? I'm not feeling at 100%. And she knew what's been happening because she was actually the one that drove me to the hospital the first time from work when we had that one meeting in January. So she's aware of that I've been dealing with something. I just don't know what it is. So she's like, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. Just check in with me before you leave. No big deal. Okay, I will. And next thing you know, as the class is progressing more and more, I'm feeling worse and worse. I'm feeling more and more lightheaded. And for the first time, I'm starting to lose a lot more feelings in my hands and they're feeling cold. I'm like, okay, that's new. Usually I feel like some tingling before, but now I'm actually feel like I'm kind of struggling to open and close my hand. I'm doing like a lot of like this or like something to get feeling in them. And I'm like, okay, we're almost done. Just a couple more rounds of this class and we're done. I'll even end the class just a little earlier to get everyone out so I can go sooner. Just gotta keep pushing through. And I think the part that made me really realize that, okay, we got a real serious issue here is there's a whiteboard in that boxing studio where we write down all the workouts. And when I was writing the workout for the last part of the class, or like, we were like 2/3 into the class at this point, I was writing and all of a sudden in my hand, I couldn't feel anymore. And the marker fell out of my hand because I couldn't really feel anything. And we always carry radios on us. So since we're working in a rec center, anytime there's some type of emergency situation, you see someone got injured, there's a fight, something, we always have our radios on us to initiate any type of code situation. So for us, a major medical emergency that requires 911, we have to call it as a code blue. So I thought, I'm like, okay, now I'm really feeling like I lost this hand. I feel the heart, I'm sweating again. I'm like, this really does sound like signs of a heart attack. And then I started feeling this hand go even more and more numb. And I'm like, if I don't call the code blue for myself right now, I'm gonna lose all three of my hands and I could possibly just fall to the ground and there's no way for anyone to communicate because the only people in there are just the members taking the group exercise class. They don't know who to call or who to reach out to. So I called the code situation and everything from there just turned into a blur. My hands are completely numb at this point. I'm there on the floor. And all I remember was a lot of my coworkers who are all aware of my first incident that happened while I was at work in January. I think they recognized that it was my voice calling the radio, and I must have been the way that I was sounding because I did sound out of breath. I think they recognized that maybe it's me specifically who's going through this emergency, not a member. So I remember a handful of them actually in the boxing studio, and I was just thinking, like, why is everyone here? Because I'm like, we have certain procedures of who handles what, but I just remember seeing just everyone like looking up, and I was like, everything was pretty blurry. I'm like, what's happening here? And then I remember the paramedics coming in, and then they hooked me up to all like doing an EKG and everything, whatever, and they checked it. And I remember the one paramedic who was trying to talk to me, but I was so out of it. I was trying to answer the questions best, but I felt like my answers were very vague because, again, I'm like mentally checked out at this point. I do remember him specifically telling me, is all like, this isn't normal. Your heart rate is fluctuating way too high. It's spiking and then dropping, spiking and dropping. And even when it drops, the lower levels are still excessively high. So keep in mind, at this point, I'm already minutes into just sitting on the ground. I'm not actually being I'm not physically doing anything. I'm just sitting on the ground trying to calm myself down. And my heart rate is fluctuating between 100 beats per minute and somewhere in the 130. It's just going back and forth nonstop. And he's just there confused, and they're all talking to each other. It's like, what's happening? Like, it's not calming down. It's just going, and they said, like, it's not safe. And I remember he was talking to someone, I don't know who, and I overheard him saying, it's like, yeah, his heart is just out of control right now. It's not safe to leave him here. We have to go check him out at a hospital. So next thing you know, I'm in the back of an ambulance going to the hospital, and they did every test. I don't know what it is. I'm not an expert in this field. I don't know what type of test. I remember they took 5 blood samples. So they took one from this vein, one from this vein, one from my hand, something from my finger here, and then another one from this finger. So I don't know what those tests are. They hooked me up to everything, transferred me to multiple rooms inside that hospital. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what it was. But hours later, the nurse came in and it's like, okay, yeah, we see there's clearly a problem with your heart, but we don't know. We checked anything major. Nothing warrants a heart attack, nothing for surgery, cardiac arrest, nothing of that severity. But regardless, there's still going to be something there. And we're going to go ahead and refer you to a cardiologist, which I already told them. I just was at the cardiologist yesterday, and they told me it could be an issue with my left ventricle, and explained them everything. And then my next appointment is going to be in 2 weeks to get all these tests done to officially pinpoint the issue. They said, no, bump it up. We're not waiting 2 weeks. Get it as soon as you can. So I got discharged from the hospital, and I called the cardiologist. I'm like, hey, I was literally just in the hospital a couple minutes ago. Can we bump it up? I can't wait. So I was able to get it a week earlier, and they did all the tests. They did ultrasounds on my heart. They did EKGs. They did a treadmill stress test, which is just an EKG and blood pressure, but while you're on a treadmill, and they're just flipping the speed, speeding it up, slowing it down, increasing the incline, lower it. So they're just spiking your heart rate on purpose to see how it's reacting to just sudden burst of exertion. And then right away, they're checking my blood pressure and ultrasounds to see my heart, what's happening in it while it's excessively. So right after I'm done running on the treadmill, all right, right away, check ultrasound. We want to see what's happening while it's beating this aggressively. And they sent me home with a heart patch, and pretty much what it was doing is it was just monitoring my heart 24/7. And they said anytime I feel that severe to the point where I feel like I need to go to the hospital, now that I recognize the signs, let's go ahead and press the button so it could like timestamp it. They could go further in depth looking into it. They said keep everything else exactly the same, change absolutely nothing. Still work out, which I wasn't even working out at this point. Like I said, I feel like I was losing motivation these past couple of weeks. And just keep everything exactly as it is. We want to see every little thing that your heart would do. So, okay, I tried doing that. And next thing you know, I'm still not getting answers with whatever it is that I think is going on with me. I don't feel safe to go back to work. My body is literally physically hurting because I got all these needles that were just in me the Friday before. I'm still not 100% healed from that. Do I really need to go back to work? Because now I feel like my mental health is just falling apart because I'm having like all these bad thoughts and I just feel off. So my boss, after I let her know, is like, hey, I'm back from the hospital and I just made my cardiologist appointment. She told me like, hey, with everything that's been going on, I could read through the tag. I'm smart enough to read through the line. She wasn't asking me if I wanted to take time off. She was telling me, he's like, David, just take the time off. You're pushing too hard. And I'm always with the mindset that I don't want to take time off. I always want to be working towards something. I always feel the need to be productive. And the last time I actually took a vacation at work was over 2 years ago. And even then, it wasn't a vacation that I actively asked time for. The partner that I was with at the time, she wanted to go on a trip. So obviously I'm going to go with her. But had she have not wanted to go on that trip, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have asked for time off. I just don't like taking time off. I feel like if I take time off, I'm going to fall behind. And that ultimately is what led to this downfall. It's like I'm just overworking myself excessively. So I told her, okay, can I take 2 weeks off to just kind of figure things out and get answers to what all of this is going? It's like, yes, by all means, please take it. It was encouraged. Okay. And next thing you know, even after that second week, I'm like, I don't feel like that's enough time. I feel like these things weren't really a vacation. I feel like I'm not rested. I felt the first week, all I did was just recover physically from everything that I had to do at the hospital, the cardiologist, all the tests, all the needles, everything. I felt like my body was just recovering physically. Like all the bruising that I had on my arms from all the needles and everything, it's like, that wasn't a vacation. And then the second week, I felt like I was just trying to recover mentally from just being overwhelmed with everything that had been going up until this point. So I texted, or I asked them, like, hey, can I take a third week off? And they're like, yes. And I'm glad that they understand it. I'm grateful that they understood and they're by my side and support this, because I feel like they we're seeing things from a different perspective. I'm constantly going to be in denial. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I can push through this. But I think they were able to see on the outside how I really was, especially considering that they saw firsthand, literally me on the floor dying practically in the boxing studio. They saw how I was the first time they took me to the hospital from work, and they've noticed and they could tell that it's something serious. So I was like, okay. And I'm grateful that I took these 3 weeks off. I really do feel it was much needed. And I made the goal. I'm like, these 3 weeks, I'm just going to try to get as much answers as I can. I'm going to try to get all this healing done. I'm going to try to really do my best to just get myself back to a state where I feel like my old self again. So that's why that was written back there. The very first day off that I had, that was the first thing I wrote. You will be back stronger than ever, because that is the goal. I'm like, I know whatever it is that I'm going through, I know it cannot be permanent. I know I'll bounce back from it. I just don't know what it is that I'm going through exactly. So realistically, there was 3 big things that I was looking out for. I was really trying to prioritize: the physical health, the mental health, and the spiritual health. So again, it was getting to the point where I love working out. My whole life revolves around fitness. Hence the reason why this is a fitness channel. Got the home gym. This is the one thing I genuinely love doing. This is what was my de-stressor. This is the one thing I look forward to the most doing day in and day out. And for all of a sudden now, these past couple of weeks, to not even want to work out, and any time that I did, I felt like it was coming from a perspective of I need to work out, not that I want to work out. So now I started feeling like a chore. I started feeling like errands, like, oh, great, now it's time to work out. And ever since my powerlifting meet, I never really took time off to rest. The day I came home from my powerlifting meet, which was in December, that same night I signed up for my next powerlifting meet, which was in February. I took no time off. I right away went straight into prepping for the next one. And I feel like that's one of the things that contributed to just my body ultimately giving out. Is just I was giving it no rest whatsoever. And now it's getting to the point where I'm just overtraining, just pushing myself too hard, burning myself out physically, not getting enough rest. And that's also part of the reason why I was relying so much on caffeine to get me through everything. And it started getting to the point where now I'm like, okay, I used to work out 4 times a week. It started becoming a little more difficult. Okay, let's bump it down to 3 times per week. Now 2 times per week. And then ultimately it just ended up to me not working out at all for a good amount of time. Hence the reason why no content was being put out, because I'm like, what am I going to post? I got no clips of me doing anything really. So for these 3 weeks, I'm like, let's just start slow. I understand, and I'm mature enough to know that it's not going to all come back. I spent weeks doing nothing and losing progress. I'm not going to change that within 1 day. It's going to take time. So the first week off, let's just get back into working out. Super lightweight, just going through the motion, trying to get some blood flowing, kind of loosen up the shoulders, the hips, the knees, because I'd just been bedridden up until this point. I worked out only 3 times that week, and whew, that was pushing it. I did legs, push, pull, and that pull day, that was pushing it. I was only able to work out comfortably twice that week, but that 3rd day, man, it was pushing it, and I did not feel good about it at all. I'm like, all right, well, that's 3 more workouts than I otherwise would have done these past 4 weeks. The 2nd week, I was actually able to work out 4 times per week, and I'm like, ooh, I feel good. And I wanted to work out a 5th day, but I'm like, no, let's keep it slow. The only thing I did for that 2nd week though is, although I felt excited to work out, it's just that's when I realized, man, I lost a lot of strength. What used to be warm-up weights, now they feel like this is my top set. I was able to do legs, push, pull, legs. And again, I felt good with working out. I just realized how weak I am. And I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, man, I lost a lot of size, because throughout all of this, I've been also losing my appetite. I wasn't eating as much. Going from what used to be 5 or 6 meals per day to pushing 2 meals per day. Again, that's push. I had to force feed myself 2 meals a day, and then slowly force feed myself 3 meals. And keep in mind, when it was 3 meals, one of them is a shake. So the protein shake should go down easy. It's just liquid. But even then, that was a hassle to get through. So as I'm trying to build myself up physically, I'm also trying to regain my appetite so I can gain back my size, my muscle, and everything. So the 2nd week was also when I started going on more walks. I'm like, okay, I need to prioritize this cardio, because I know cardio benefits your heart health. Can't just be lifting weights. I feel so out of breath doing a set of 5 on squats. If I'm doing bench press, if I'm doing 8 reps, I feel like my cardiovascular is giving out more so than my pecs or my triceps. So let's go on walks, and whew, man, what used to be a nice, good 45-minute walk at a fast walking speed, now it feels like a brutal hike. If the uphill portions were just difficult and I feel like I'm taking more breaks than usual, so I'm like, okay, let's just slowly build back up to it. And now this past week, which was the 3rd week, the best way I could put it in words is I feel like all the bad stuff is behind me now. Physically, I'm not 100% back. Obviously, I got a long ways to go to build my strength. But mentally, my approach to working out, I'm back. I wanted to push myself more. I wanted to do more, but I ran out of exercises to do. Because I'm like, okay, there's only so many chest exercises I could do in one chest workout. There's only so many back workouts I could do on one given day. I ran out of exercise. Like, I can't just spend 3 or 4 hours working out. Even though I have the day off, yes, I could, but I'm like, the whole goal is to get me back to that structured routine. So Monday, I did legs, and I worked up to 3 plates on squats, and I was only doing 1 rep. But I feel like I could have done more, but again, we're slowly working up to it. And I did all my accessories, my other quad work, my hammies, glute work. It felt good. I'm like, I want to continue working out, but I can't. Obviously, I'm going to work out in a couple of days. I'm going to train legs again, so I can't push myself too much right now. But I'm like, man, that was the first really good workout I've had in like almost 2 months. The following day, Tuesday, I did chest and triceps. Man, same thing, 2 plates on bench for the first time. Only got it for 1 rep, but I felt good approaching this workout. I haven't had a chest pump in who knows how long. Triceps, getting a good pump there. I'm like, man, let's keep going. Should I train should I add shoulders onto this workout? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna train shoulders in a couple days. No, let's just keep it at this for now. So I'm like, I really wanted to keep going. Then I did back on Wednesday, and I'm like, damn, that one actually didn't lose a whole lot of strength. So that was a huge confidence booster. Back was my strongest body part pre bad things happening. And I felt really good coming back. So I was like, all right, this is good. Let's go ahead and go on to the next day. Legs again. Deadlift. I have not deadlifted since my powerlifting meet. That was the very first day I deadlifted. I'm like, let's just try 4 plates. Now keep in mind, 4 plates used to be a warm-up set, or it used to be a top set of 4 to 6 reps. Just 1 rep alone, whew, it felt heavy, but I got it up. First time lifting over 400 pounds since December. That felt nice. Did my other leg workouts, did my quad work, did some hammies. Just everything felt good. And just looking back at it, each one of these 4 workouts, each day I was also going on an evening walk. And the walks felt good. I was speeding up. My mom actually walks with me in the evenings. And it was starting to get to the point where I started realizing, I forgot which day specifically it was. I think it was on the Wednesday, where I would just like be so in the zone, just walking, and then it would be a while, I'll turn around and I see my mom's a couple steps behind me, and I told her, I'm like, do you need me to slow down? Am I going a little too fast? She's like, no, you're good. I'm like, okay, just let me know if you need me to slow down. I'm like, that's how good I'm feeling, that I'm like, I'm going back, as if I'm walking by myself, I'm going at a fast pace. Like I want to go even faster. And then on top of that, like the meals this past week alone was the first time where I gained my appetite back. I'm eating all of my meal prep. So now what used to be 6 meals per day, now it is only 4 meals per day, but each meal is a bigger quantity. So I'm still eating the same amount of calories, 4,000 or 4,500 per day, roughly 180 grams of protein per day. It's just now, instead of it being divided amongst 5 or 6 meals, now it's being divided amongst 4 meals. I'm eating all of it. 2 whole food protein shakes and 2 meat and rice meal prepped containers. So I'm like, all right, and I'm eating them. I'm drinking all my water. I got my appetite back. I'm like, all right, cool. Physically, I'm back. I think the only thing that I need left is just to continue building off of it, just continue building my strength. But even then right now, I was like, is it really best? What am I getting stronger for? I don't have a competition first right now. maybe I should just take a step aside from just being so focused on lifting heavy, and maybe let's just focus a little more on the bodybuilding. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Summer's right around the corner. Maybe let's lean out a little bit. If I go on trips, I go to the beach, I can go ahead and be nice and lean. You know, there's nothing wrong with just not lifting heavy all the time. And I feel like that was one of the things that was mentally draining me. And with all the mental health issues that you have, obviously, if they're go unresolved and you just stress yourself out more, it's going to manifest itself into something physical. So I feel just leading up all of the second half of 2025, from August to December, that powerlifting me, strength, everything. I gotta go 5 pounds heavier today. I have to go 10 pounds heavier today. Everything has to be so numbers driven that I got to the point where I'll just stress myself out more, like, I didn't get the lift that I wanted. Man, I didn't get the amount of reps that I wanted. I'm not seeing the progress that I want. And I'm like, do I really want to go through that again right now? Eventually I do, but right now maybe the best thing to do is just not lift so heavy, not be so numbers driven. How about we just switch the focus a little to bodybuilding? It's still working out, I can still push myself, but when it comes to training like a bodybuilder and training for looks, no one's gonna ask you, is like, hey, your arms look really good. Did you get that way by lifting 225 or 315? No, it doesn't matter. It's just as long as the weight is difficult enough to where you feel that good contraction, you feel the muscles working. So I was like, you know what? Let's just chase the pump. Let's just push ourselves and just train for looks for now and just slowly, you know, get back to where we used to be. So that's definitely been a huge game changer. And just being grateful that I'm back physically, at least as much as I could be right now. My mental approach to my physical health has definitely improved. But again, that wasn't the only thing. I also said I wanted to, you know, fix the spiritual aspect of it, along with a little bit more in depth with the mental approach to everything that has been going on with me these past couple of weeks. I mean, just me relying on myself alone these past couple of weeks, these past couple of months, I already see I was just burning myself out, trying to push myself as hard as I can in the gym, trying to excel in my career and try to grow professionally as much as I can. Spending so many hours constantly researching, looking at better ways to edit and produce content. Just not prioritizing my sleep and just pushing the caffeine. Still trying to maintain having a social life and hanging out with friends, going out on things that I would enjoy, going on hikes, things like that. You know, at the end of the day, all these things, what were they really for? They were for just myself. Physically, who's that going to affect? It's only going to affect me. Growing professionally, who's that going to affect? It's me. It's my career. Going out and doing things that I enjoy. As for me, everything is only for me. Everything's just me. And I feel like it was starting to get to the point where I'm like, am I really relying on God as much anymore? Am I losing faith in him? Obviously not. It just, but was I putting him in the forefront? Clearly no. And I feel like with everything that had been going out these past couple of weeks, just burning out, and it was like, it's a good time, or it was a good wake-up call to just not rush things. I feel like that's ultimately what led to a lot of these panic or anxiety attacks that I was having, is just inner frustration with myself and just not being happy where things were going in my life. I'm pushing as hard as I can in the gym, and I'm still nowhere near the strength or the physique that I want. I'm putting in all these hours at work, and although I am seeing progress and professional growth, am I still to the higher ranked level that I want to be? No, but that's all going to come with time and experience. Putting out content, constantly trying to edit videos and putting it out week by week. I'm still nowhere near the amount of subscribers that I want. I'm not getting the monetization to the level that I will want on a monthly basis. And it all just started taking a toll on me. And as selfish as it may be, yeah, I'm doing all those things for me, but I got to understand, I can't do it all by myself. I got to put my faith in God, and I got to understand, like, it's all in his timing. It's not ours. As much as we want to push things and accelerate things, yeah, we may push the process or progress along a little more so, but ultimately things are going to fall in place when they want. And that's one thing that I'm slowly starting to realize is, as much progress as I've been making up to this point, yeah, it's all good, but there's a reason why I'm not to where I want to be yet. I'm not the man I'm supposed to be to reap the benefits of what it is that I'm trying to pursue. And just coming up here, clearing my head, breathing in the fresh air, praying, I feel like that's really been helping me spiritually. I feel like it's been helping me mentally, just get it all out there. Just talking, touching grass, breathing in the fresh air, getting away from the city. It's just, When you go to the doctors, all they want to do is just prescribe you pills. I got my medication at home. I still haven't taken it up to this day because all they want to do is just put you on something. It's all a money scheme, big pharma. That's not getting to the root problem, the root cause of everything that's happening. Grounding myself out here has been helping. Sometimes I'll alternate between coming up here, going to church. Nothing wrong with that. Just when I'm going to church, I'm paying attention to the sermon, as you should be if you are going. But I feel, for me personally, I can hear what God is trying to tell me even more so when I come up here. There's no distractions, it's quiet, and I can actually hear. One of my friends who I've been really relying on these past couple of weeks is like, hey, she's been helping me. I'm like, you said you've gone through something similar. What's helped you? One thing that she's been telling me is like, you just got to take the time to just listen to what your body and what God is trying to say. You're too distracted. You have so much going in your mind. Your brain is just racing all over the place. Just slow down. That was really the only thing. I just needed to take the break. It's okay to take breaks. You weren't resting enough, so your body forced a rest. Now try to learn from this. What is God trying to tell you? And that's one thing I struggle with. I'm like, what do you mean? How am I supposed to know what he's telling me? He's like, it's in the quiet moments when he's trying to reach out to you. When the universe is trying to say something to you, you just never take the time to actually just mentally be at ease. So I remember one of the times that I came here, it's just mountains. It's only a 20-minute walk from where I live. But I've been deciding these past couple of weeks to actually just drive here instead and just spend time up here. And I remember just talking to God. I'm like, hey, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. I don't know if I have a heart issue. My mental health is all over the place. I'm having all these thoughts. I have no motivation to really do anything. What are you trying to tell me? What is it that you need me to know? And I remember I was just sitting there quietly, and there's like a small road right here in front of me. I was just sitting, doing nothing. Like, I'm just trying to hear, like, what are the signs that are trying to be directed my way? And the day prior, I was reading a book about worry, anxiety, fear, things along the lines of that. And I remember it was giving biblical quotes, and one of them specifically was Jeremiah 3:33. And I'm all like, for some reason, that specific quote or that specific verse stood out to me. Not necessarily because of the verse itself, but more so the numbers. I'm like, why is 3:33? Why is that just calling to me out of all of them? That's a little weird. Obviously, I read through the verse. I'm like, okay, I see what it's trying to tell me. But for some reason, those numbers just kept really like reaching out to me. And then when I was up here one day, just sitting in silence, just trying to hear whatever I was trying to listen to, 5 minutes have gone by and I'm still not hearing or seeing anything. I was just trying to relax. I see this one car pull up and it just made a U-turn. But when it was making a U-turn, it stopped for a good amount of time and it just stayed there. And the license plate was just facing me. And ultimately what it did was just do a U-turn and it headed back to the street that it came from. And I'm all the way on the edge of the street right here, on the border edge of this hiking trail. So I'm like, why did it choose to come all the way to where it's within eyesight of me instead of just making an immediate U-turn at the intersection up the road instead? And when I looked at the license plate, it had the same three numbers, 333. So I'm like, okay, well, what is that? I'm like, I just read that last night and it stood out for me for some reason. So then I started looking it up on my phone, like the significance of 333, biblical verses of this, just what is it? And ultimately what it was the underlying tone of cry out to God. Whatever it is that you're going through, just cry out for him and he'll reveal the answers that you wouldn't even be imaginable. And all of a sudden, it all started making sense. Yes, there is a reason why I'm up here. I'm asking God, just help me get through this. Help me get my motivation back. Help me get my discipline, my routine back. Because I'm not even waking up early. I'm going to sleep excessively late. I'm not eating my meal prep. I'm not working out. I'm not going to work. I don't feel comfortable going back to work. Just everything feels like it's falling apart. Just what am I trying to go through? What is it that I'm supposed to be listening to or doing? And it all made sense. You're going through this to make you stronger. God already has everything planned out for you. He already knows everything that he's going to be doing for you. You just got to have faith in him and understand that it's all in his timing. Ultimately, everything that led up to this point was just self-frustration with me not being where I want to be in life, not being as successful as I otherwise would want to be by the age of 25. It's not up to me. I can put in all the work I want, but ultimately it's all going to be under God's timing. I just need to ask help along the way and just have faith in him. He's putting me through this for a reason. And now looking back at it, I understand what that reason is. It's to take the time to allow myself to rest. It's not always about go, go, go. I mean, he said it himself best. The seventh day is the day of rest. There was no rest for me whatsoever. My typical routine would be Monday through Friday, nonstop work. In the morning, work out. Then go to work, put in my 8 hours. During my lunch break, work on content. Afterwards, do my cardio in the evening. Then once I get home, self-development for my mind, read my books, then edit a little bit more, then journal, then sleep. There was absolutely no rest time at all during any of those hours, Monday through Friday. Saturday schedule, spend all morning filming, spend all afternoon late into the night editing all the videos and all the content that needs to be put out for the following week. Sunday, finish off whatever editing I didn't finish and have everything uploaded. Do whatever errands I need to go to the market, clean my room, run errands, put gas in the car. And then meal prep in the evening. And that's pretty much it. There was really no rest. I was just burning the candle on both ends. And now I see, looking back, I'm like, I needed to go through all this. I needed to learn my lesson that it's okay to rest. It's okay to step on the brakes. It doesn't have to be all gas all the time. I was just too stubborn to understand, and I was too stubborn to recognize all the signs at first. That lack of sleep, feeling sluggish, the weight feeling a little heavier and heavier, being a little irritable, waking up more often than I otherwise would have liked. All of those were signs leading up to this burnout. Ultimately, I just was choosing to ignore them and not putting my faith in God. I wasn't praying as much. I wasn't going to church as often. I was just completely falling off. So God humbled me, and I'm grateful for it, because now I understand that all of this was needed. Whatever struggle it is that you're going through, pray to God for help. Don't think that you could just help yourself, because that's not ultimately it. You got to believe in something to help yourself with. And it's not even just that. Seek help from others. My dad has really been helping me out a lot with this. He said it to me best. One time he told me, he's like, you're putting too much into the physical and not enough into your mental. So let's go ahead and address it. You know, one thing that he will be recommending to me is to start meditating and start certain breathing techniques that can really help you out. One of the books that he recommended to me is like, this one could really help you out with everything that you're going with. It's just the signs of mental physics. Because like I said, he noticed I'm putting too much into my physical health, but not enough into the mental state. And realistically, anything that you do in life, it's all going to start up here. So started reading it. And that's one of the things I like to do. And also another reason why I like coming up here is just meditating, asking for whatever it is that I need help with, saying the positive affirmations. I'm going to be successful. Everything is going to work out. Everything is going to go exactly as planned. Go ahead and say the denials. I am not dealing with any heart issues. I don't have to worry about my health. I am in good condition. I am healthy. Sickness will not affect me. You know, all this stuff. Reaffirming that you're not, in fact, struggling from anything negative, and reinforcing the fact that you will receive all the positives. So that's really been helping out. The books that he's telling me to read, the breathing techniques, the meditations that he's putting me through, I definitely see how all that has been really helping me out. And it just goes to show that it really just was that I just needed rest. I just needed time to step away from everything and ultimately just unwind. Not everything has to be go, go, go all the time. Sometimes just got to clear whatever's happening in here. So for me, I've been doing the meditations, the breathing. That has been helping. Another thing that I've been doing, especially after I'm done from the mountains up there, I come back to my car here and then start reading. But specifically, what am I reading? So I've had this one, but I haven't been a little too consistent with it, if I'm being completely honest with you. You're supposed to read it every morning, which again, I have not been doing it too consistently as I should. So today's is supposed to be this one, Man's Purpose. So Isaiah 54. The sovereign Lord has given me his words of wisdom so that I know how to comfort the weary. Morning by morning, he wakens me and opens my understanding to do his will. So Isaiah's words ring true for the life of every man. Isaiah was a man of compassion who waited on the Lord every morning for new understanding and to have his eyes open for what God, not he, wanted to do. He was a man of faith through and through. Above himself, he put the needs of the weary and the weakened. He prioritized their comfort and gave them the Lord's own words of wisdom. Isaiah was able to work with confidence because he knew his Lord was sovereign, or the highest authority. Despite the weariness and brokenness around him, he knew the Lord was still sovereign. He was still in control and able to protect everyone who fled under his wings. Isaiah loved him, his Savior, because his Savior was able to protect him and bring healing to the people he cared for. So after reading through that, the verse, kind of annotating the verse, quick prayer at the end. Dear Lord, please give me words of wisdom the weary need to hear. Make me an encouraging man who puts the needs of others first in my life. That's perfect for this video, because what did I say at the very beginning? The whole goal behind this channel was trying to help as many people as I can. So anything that I've been doing to try to help myself these past couple of weeks, now I want to put it to you all and try to encourage you all to just seek whatever help it is that you need. As much as I want to emphasize the physical health, because that's genuinely what I love doing, these past couple of weeks have really been just eye-opening, that we also got to look out into the mental health as well and just get everything up here in check. I mean, for those of you who are football fans, maybe you remember Marshawn Lynch. There was an interview that he did where he was giving advice to the younger players, and it's like, make sure y'all get y'all's mental in check. I mean, that's real. We see it a lot with celebrities, actors, pro athletes, everyone who's got millions of dollars and everything that we could ever ask for in life. And they're still going through some type of depression or some type of hardships. And we, as common folk, will be like, what do they have to be depressed about? What are they struggling with? They got all the money in the world, but that's not everything. If you don't address your mental health, well, we already see what can happen. I mean, I saw how it really affected me and not giving myself the rest that I needed. Once I'm done with all my meditations, all my prayers, busting out the good book. As my high school football coach said, I was reading the good book, and he would always bring in a new verse for us for the day. So what I've been doing is, or what my dad's been recommending for me, is after we're done with all of our meditations, prayers, always finish it off by reading Psalm 23 and Psalm 150. So I got those two bookmarked right here. Been doing that, and it's not like those are the only ones that I've been reading. I've also been reading others as well, but that's definitely been helping out. And journaling. Everything that I've talked about to this point, yes, it helps out the spiritual, and it has carryover to the mental. I definitely feel spiritual and mental go hand in hand with each other. But if I were to just talk about spiritual alone, the praying up in the mountains and the meditation, those two things have really been helping out. For mental alone, journaling. Some people like it, some people don't. You just gotta find what works for you ultimately. For me personally, I found journaling has been tremendous. I've always written a lot. Even I remember in high school or just school in general, even up until college, I hated when an English assignment had a certain word count, maximum, cannot exceed whatever. Because I would always succeed. I never struggled with writing. If anything, I got too much to write. I've always written everything in very in-depth detail. So I was like, damn, it was only supposed to be an 8-page essay, and I wrote 10. I got to cut out 2 pages. Or if whatever free response test we had to do only gave you this much space to write, I would need this much space, because I've always written a lot. I always have a lot in my mind that I can't say. So just jotting it down on paper has really been helping out. So this was just a generic notebook, nothing too crazy. Doesn't have any prompts. I have another journal at home that actually does give you the specific prompts that, you know, things like, what are you grateful for? What are some good things that happened today? What are some good things that you're looking forward to tomorrow? What were your affirmations for the day? What was the goal of the day? What were you feeling? What were the emotions you were going through today? And then just a section where you can just free write your daily reflection. That I feel has definitely been helping out. Instead of just bottling it all up here, get it on paper. What is it that you've been wanting to say all day? What just really irritated? What just ruined your day? Instead of just holding on to it, let's get it all on paper. So I do that specific journal at night at the end of the day, but there's only so much space that I have on there. During the day, if I just get that random, because now that I'm trying to like actively just listen to my thoughts and take breaks throughout the day to just sit in silence and just hear with my body, God, universe, someone, what are they trying to tell me? And then jot it down. That's what I've been using this notebook for. Because again, right here, I got more space. So I've already written a couple of pages. And one of the things from meditation that my dad and I did yesterday was, or not yesterday, a couple of days ago, was now that we got confirmation from the cardiologist, because I just went a couple of days ago and they told me what the official issue was with my heart, because they actually did find something. They told me, we need you to do this, and that for these next 2 months. And then we're going to come back in 2 months to see if the issue improved. If not, we're going to start a new treatment, whatever. So I'm like, okay, it finally got confirmed. There's no major red flag issue with my heart. There is actually something, and they were able to pinpoint it out. They were able to find it, and they were able to give me certain treatment or certain protocols to do these next 2 months to try to mitigate the issue. That was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Like, finally, I got the final answers that I needed. I'm no longer left in confusion. I know what it is, and now we know how to go about it. The worst of the worst is over. Nothing to worry about now, because now we have what we need to fix the issue. Now we're not just left wondering. With all of that said, my dad later that day said, hey, there's one more meditation. We're going to do it. It's the final one to get all of this bad stuff out the way. So it was a little bit of combination of meditation, visualization, and then writing. So just visualizing all the bad things that have just happened up until this point, throw it in the fire, visualize all the good stuff, bring it into you. Afterwards, he told me, write down everything that's been happening these recently that's just led up to this, all the bad stuff, all the everything, and then burn it, and then throw the ashes out. Get all that stuff out of the system so that we don't repeat the same mistakes, and just get rid of all of it. And the calm I felt after that. There's definitely merit to all these different approaches, and it's definitely been helping out. So it goes to show you that, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not just about the physical health. You really do got to get the spiritual and mental in check as well. It's a combination of all three. When one suffers, it eventually carries over to the next. If one excels, okay, that's good, but it could only get so far. You need to start relying on the others to help push. Everything has to be in use, and there needs to be balance in the body as well. So just looking back at everything that's been happening, I'd definitely say it's not the ideal start to 2026, but ultimately there's a reason why I needed to go through this. Bottom line I could say is take breaks and give your time the chance to just unwind and relax. In life, it's like the saying goes, do you work to live or do you live to work? And a constant hustle culture and just nonstop grind, it's okay to take breaks. It's okay. You don't have to feel like you earn your breaks. It's better to rest up when you can instead of resting up because it is needed. Don't push yourself over the edge. And that's definitely one of the biggest things that I've learned is that I got to give myself the time to relax. It was just too much piling up at the same time. Pushing myself a little too hard at the gym, all while still trying to push myself to further my career at work, all while still trying to get the social media and all these side hustles off the ground and progress them even forward, still trying to maintain a social life and still trying to find time to sleep enough hours throughout the day, still getting all my meals and still trying to read my books, still trying to be productive every second throughout the day that I can. And ultimately, there was just no balance. I was just burning myself out. And like I said, if you don't give your body a rest, it's gonna force it to rest. That's why some people, they get diagnosed with different things. Some people get it diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, so your body starts attacking itself when there's no outlet for all the stress that's piling on. It's gonna be a little different for everyone. For me, it just so happened to result in what I think is panic and anxiety attacks and some type of heart issue, which at least I know what it is and it can be addressed and it's in the process of being fixed. But throughout everything that's been happening, it's definitely been reassuring knowing that I'm finally looking forward to working out again. I'm finally starting to film again. This is the first video back in who knows how long. It felt good having the support from my parents. My mom was looking at it a little bit more from the physical side. She's been trying to help me out addressing my high blood pressure, which was also found, which isn't that big of a deal. It could obviously be addressed, but making me these lemon concoctions and drinking them each day, forcing me to drink pomegranate juice and eating raw pieces of garlic cloves and just burning a hole in my stomach because it's spicy or whatever. So definitely it's good to know that there's the support there. My dad helping a little bit more so with the mental and spiritual side of it via the proper breathing techniques, standing on the sun and meditating, reading certain verses. So that's definitely been helping out. Just slowly starting to socialize a little bit more so with friends and just hearing their stories of what has helped them go through or what they've gone through and what things that have helped them get through whatever stresses in life that they felt with. Some of them said they had to seek out therapy. Some of them grew closer in their faith and started getting a little more involved at church. Others, they did the self-healing work, whatever it is, just different methods. And it's just good to know that you're not alone. Whatever it is that you're going through, there's people out there who have also gone through it. It's okay to ask for help. And before, I used to be the type of person where I'll just bottle it in. I'm not going to tell anyone what my problems are because it's no one's business other than myself. But if you need help, ask for it. Especially men. I know a lot of us, we just keep everything inside of us out of fear of looking weak or just, you know, whatever societal pressures is being put on us. Man, if we can't even get ourselves in check, how are we supposed to get others in check? If we can't even help ourselves, how are we supposed to help others? You know, there comes a time and place where sometimes we got to put ourselves first and put our own health as a priority, because if we can't get ourselves right, there's no way we're going to be able to contribute to others. And that's definitely one of the biggest things that I've learned up until this point. So bottom line is, man, burnout is real. And I'm lucky enough that I caught it at a young enough age right now, 25, before it manifested itself into a more severe physical problem later down the road. I'm glad I went through this. I definitely feel like I needed to be humble to be taught this lesson. Would I want to go through it again? No. Am I going to be putting the things in place to make sure it doesn't happen again? Obviously. Now I know it's not just about the gym. It's not just about pumping iron. You got to do the self-healing work as well. You got to continue looking out for this, and doing more of this. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you stayed until the end, because this was a pretty lengthy video, but I feel like it was much needed to kind of just give an update. And I'm ready to be back into social media. Slowly going to be starting to put content out there as frequently as I did before. Obviously it's not going to be an overnight thing, but at least we're back. That right there, you will be back stronger than ever. They do say that God puts his toughest battles for his strongest warriors. Man, I know there's definitely people out there who've gone through way worse. Cancer, near-death experiences, you name it. If people like that can get through it, what is it that I'm going through? Realistically, people have gone through worse. They made it out. I have a lot to be grateful for. Continue to practice gratitude. And I know I'll be back, not just to the person I was before, because the person I was before is what led to this, but just a better version of myself. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped out. And just, again, seek out the help that's needed. Comment down below if this relates to you and what have you done to help each other out. Also, comment down below any of the video suggestions you'd like to see me do. Now I'm slowly going to be starting to go back onto putting out content, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is. Comment down below. I'll be more than happy to help you all out. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. Again, going to start posting now on a weekly basis again. Got to jump back on that grind in a balanced format. And I'm looking forward to seeing where things go in the future now. So take care.